Hey guys, welcome to the woods. Well, I brought my camera stand with me, so now I don't have to hold it and I talk with one hand. I can talk with two hands now, so watch out. Big message coming today. I'm setting myself up. I really don't know if I have any message that makes any sense at all. All right. I did, let's go back to the helicopter view, right? Helicopter view of the energy ball that we really are from the big picture. I'm trying to lean us. I'm always talking about leaning. You know what I lean towards? I like to lean towards that sense of everything's going perfect. I feel like things are going well for me, and they do go well for me. I feel like everything's perfect and everything is perfect. And I feel like I'm unconditionally loving of myself, and I can be unconditionally loving of other people. And that's when the magic starts happening. When you're not leaning to that side of everything feels good. How do I get control of that? And when I get to the side where everything feels good, how do I let the good stuff be part of my life? And the good stuff being everything, the experience, right? How do I bring the love side out of my wife? How do I bring the love side out of my customers, out of my staff, everyone I intermix with? I have the option to pull out their anger of the day and they'll give it to me, or I can pull out their love side. And it's the same thing for myself. So I want to pull out the love side of me. And to do that, I feel there's a few common pitfalls. One is judgment. Judgment is what keeps us from bringing the good things into our life. We just don't feel that's what we're worthy of. And, it gets tangled up into that stuff that it's not what you say, it's not your words, it's your energy. We're communicating to the universe with energy. So what's the energy of, I don't want war anymore? War is wrong. I've done research. It's never served anyone, even the people who make money in war. It hurts them, or whatever you want to say. It's bad for the planet to have war, and there's no good side to it. And that's what I want to stop, and that's what I'm praying every day to not have, and that's what I'm doing things about. Well, what do I just do there in that little dialogue? I intensified the power of war on planet Earth. Now, if I got really emotional about it, it would be even more powerful. And if I kept it going, it would become very powerful, and it would become part of me. And I would have habits and reactions to certain things, and my sensors would be looking for war-related travesties, and I'd be saying, there's more of them, and I see them, and I feel them, and I pray for them, and I do what I can to stop them, and I tell kids to stop fighting, and all that type of stuff. So really what I'm doing, since I'm focusing on war, I'm seeing turmoil between people all the time. I'm bringing the turmoil out of people. I'm bringing the turmoil out of the news. I'm casting my little vote for this is a show that interests me because it's about the travesty and the wrongness of war. So to think about something that you're fighting against, praying against, it's all the same. Against anything is saying that there's a problem. Saying there's a problem makes something as real as saying it's a blessing to us. So it's just your choice to focus on what's going right around you and move in the direction of knowing and feeling and acting always as if everything's going right, or moving towards everything's going wrong and I've got to fix it and I'm tired of it and I've got to have to straighten everybody up around me and all that kind of stuff. So you're just feeling and seeing the wrongness of everything around you, and the wrongness will pull itself out of the ethers, and you'll just experience more wrongness and more people complaining, and birds of a feather will flock together. That's my deep final statement on that trajectory. But let's play with something. So something comes along in your life. I often sort of boil it down in my mind to what you resist persists. That wasn't the one I was really going to share. But not accepting what is. I have a better way of saying it. I always say it to myself all the time, all day, and here I can't come up with it. Resistance to what is the cause of all suffering. I made that up. But it's true. Resistance to what is. That sort of gives you a big blanket. Resistance, we know what resistance is. It could be fighting against it. It could be whatever. Focusing on something. Resistance, okay? Resistance to what is. Everything, anything that comes through your experience, you read about it, hear about it, talk about it, see it, think it, whatever. Resistance to what is going to cause you to suffer. It has to. That's its purpose. So let's back that up. Resisting something. Resisting something is calling something bad. You're making a judgment about it. This is wrong and bad. Okay. So now this is wrong and bad. I am now irritated. Now that I'm irritated, I've got to sort of wake up and deal with something. What am I going to do about this? I just hate that. I hate that it woke me up. So think about that perspective. We're trying to awaken the human species. We're trying to evolve spiritually. But I mean, you can look in history. We've always been doing it. It's amazing how people still sort of say, oh, the things are going worse and bad, and you're focusing on what's going wrong and judging yourself if you think that the outside world is getting worse and worse and worse. It's no way it's getting worse and worse and worse. We're not even going to entertain that conversation, but there's something for you to meditate on if you want to start on something. The planet is not getting worse by any stretch of the imagination. And there's nothing like, there's no assertion from the other side. I don't want to get down that tangent, but I've said that point in other videos. But there's no assertion from the other side. No one's giving us bad things. If you're focusing on bad things, you're going to see more wrongness around you, and then you're resisting what is. So let's get back to that definition. When you're resisting something, or something, let's go back. I said, when something comes into your presence, you understand something now. You've experienced something, seen it, tasted it, whatever. And you say, this is bad. All right, so now, if it's appearing as bad, no one's going to argue with you that it is bad. But what happens when a bad situation passes by the eyes and ears and noses of humanity? It's a form of waking you up to, like, does that feel good? Can you handle that? It's sort of like what Hitler did. Hitler sort of popped out as the pimple of the energy we had on the whole planet about wanting to think about how do we deal with this problem of people we don't know, don't like, and don't understand, foreigners, whatever. How do we deal with that problem? The whole planet was sort of dealing with that. What Hitler did, lots of countries were sort of thinking about. And anyway, so we just elected and rose him to the top, and he popped, and it was a big ugly zit, and we're like, oh my God, how could we have done that? Well, he just was the final manifestation of lots of thinking and thoughts of lots of people on the planet. So, when something wrong shows up on the scene, your question is, what do I need to learn from this wrongness? And the weird thing is, you're going towards acceptance of it. When you see a wrongness and you say, I'm so far above that bit of wrongness. Like, here's a bit of wrongness. Little kid, takes a toy from his younger brother or sister. That's wrong. You gonna go fix that? No, because you're like, come on. It's, as long as they're not bleeding, we don't intervene too much. Let them sort of fuss it out. They'll learn to share. They'll figure it out. So that's wrongness. We leave it alone because it's like, well, I'm above that. But then there's some wrongness you're not above. And how do you know when you're not above the wrongness? You can't let it go. You got to go do something about it. You got to get up. You got to wake up. And that's part of the awakening. It's like, you mean I got to suffer and things have got to seem so wrong that I eventually wake up? Yeah. So the wrongness is here to awaken the sleepwalkers, which is, all of us to some extent, because we're all on a paradigm of awake or asleep. We can call it, we could define the two extremes, but in the middle of the paradigm is where most everybody is. So yeah, frustrating things make you wake up. So go ahead and wake up from it, but know that's what you need to love. That's what you need to accept. And not say, oh, it's okay, people are, abusing each other or killing each other or stealing from each other or whatever. But it's waking you up to the fact that that's who we really are. When you sleepwalk, when you're leaning towards the side of everything's going wrong, and you drain all your personal energy away because you're focusing on what's wrong and nothing seems to go our way, and how can we change this planet? Because no one's having any luck changing anything. I don't care who you are. You aren't going to come to me and convince me that you're accomplishing anything to change anything in life. The people who are changing things on this planet are the ones who are working on the spiritual end of things and leaning towards finding the perfection in everything that's going on around them. They're the ones that are at the forefront of evolution. They're the ones who are awakened. They're the ones who are tapping into the ethers and bringing the gifts to the planet. If you're sleepwalking, that's one thing. And if you're really, really frustrated, then you're having negativity pull down until you finally pop and say, come on. This is ridiculous. How am I contributing to this? Through your focus on it. Focus on what you love and what you want to do with your life. That's what awakening is all about. What'd you come here to give? What's your gift? Not what you come here to fix. No one came here to fix anything. There's nothing that needs to be fixed. There's just a lot of people sleepwalking, and a lot of people focused on what's going wrong, and they're attracting wrongness. They're pulling the wrongness out of people around them. Anyway, there's science to back that. Quantum entanglement between all particles in the whole galaxy is a reality. Time and space have nothing to do with it. Thoughts, the emotions, your sense of things is what's driving this boat. All right. Remember I used to talk about the love boat on my early videos? Get on the love boat. And, be more loving to yourself. Be more loving to others. Be more accepting of what is. Acceptance of what is. That's the one thing. That's what you want to lean towards. Judgment kind of comes off that. When you don't accept something, you're judging it. When you're judging something, you're calling it wrong. When you're calling something wrong, you're into negativity. Judgment is negativity. It's not good. But it's your own self-judgment. We take self-judgment narrative and then we project it onto a God who we call our father because, dads were the thing back when we were writing this narrative. And so it's like, oh, he's our dad and he's got judgment of us. But it's your inner judgment that really makes all the difference. But we'll paint narratives that relate to our inner judgment. So, acceptance of what is. That's the direction we're leaning. When something doesn't rattle your cage, you feel like, I don't have to go fix that. That's going to fix itself. We're energy balls. There's really no loss here on planet other than the unawakened individual who doesn't lean towards knowing or looking for some acceptance of what is. But if you're way down in the paradigm of self-loathing and despair, then your climb up, your leaning in the positive direction is maybe to go towards anger, and then from anger to acceptance, and from acceptance to love, and from love to ecstasy, is that right? I don't know. You know what I'm getting at. There's that, the emotional tone scale, as they call it. There's a million different ways to talk about this point of lean towards everything's working out just as it's supposed to. If something's bothering you and irritating you, then you know it's a trigger for you. It's a trigger because you need to love on yourself more and accept what is. Accept what is in your own head. Accept your preference on what you do. People I see all the time, they make a little, a reaction to something, and they'll call first thing, oh, that was wrong. This information I'm giving you, people can use it to beat themselves up. That isn't what Dan wanted. That isn't what Dan's talking about. Just allow acceptance of what is. It says stay where you are. Love where you are. Until you really love where you are and accept where you are and see the greatness of the journey you've made in your time in this galaxy. If you're not focusing on that, you can't go forward anyway. So just acceptance of what is. Anyway, that's 14 minutes of talking about acceptance of what is. Who thought you could talk about that so long? Anyway, self-love, worthiness, that's the other side. That's what you're going for. Self-love, worthiness, acceptance of what is. And go focus on, put all your attention and all your energy on what you've brought to this planet to share. And it's always going to be in the form of some type of art. It's not like we don't need more scientific formulas. show us your love bomb in a visual format, or an audible format, or a taste format, or a smells format, or a touch format. In some format, show us your love vibration that you can't fake. You gotta lean, you gotta be practiced at the art of leaning towards the side of acceptance of what is, self-love, worthiness. Anyway, all right, 15 minutes on the button. See you guys, love you. And don't forget to throw love bombs, mainly on yourself. Get on the love train. I'm like, God, that one came back. On the love train. It's a 4-letter word, but it's not a bad word. We can talk about it. Try it. All right, see you guys.